The Missouri task force could get shut down for a lack of state funding.
About a dozen agencies across the state make up the Missouri Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force. And since its creation in 2007, it's received a grant each year from the state worth about $1.5 million. But so far this year, no money's been released.
And today, ABC 17's Lindsay Burning talked to the Boone County Sheriff's Department about its Cyber Crimes Task Force. And Lindsay, they told you the grant is the only source of funding right now.
Joey and Marissa, the Boone County Cyber Crimes Task Force, says it is very dependent on a portion of that yearly grant. It pays for 2 detective salaries, equipment, training, licensing fees, overtime, and more. Usually, the task force applies for the grant before its fiscal year on June 1st and receives it a few weeks later. But this year, Tracy Perkins says the grant never got approved and was put on a halt because the governor froze the funds.
We're still employed. We're still, doing what we're supposed to do as law enforcement officers, but we're also have to consider the long term, well, what if? And that's kind of where we're at right now. Just we're becoming a little bit more cautious in trying to figure out where is this going? What's our long term? What's the future going to entail for the task force?
The Cyber Crimes Task Force investigates crimes that exploit children on the internet. Most of the time, that includes tracking the distribution of child pornography. From October 2012 to February 2013, it investigated more than 4,600 cases in Missouri, according to the Cybercrime Grant Program reports. The Boone County Cybercrime Task Force also serves multiple surrounding counties, including Cole, Callaway, Howard, Audrain, Cooper, and Randolph. It applied for about a $140,000 budget through the grant this year, and without that money, it has to borrow from the Boone County Sheriff's Department. I talked to Sheriff Dwayne Carey earlier today. He says right now they are using money from open positions in the jail to keep the task force afloat until the money is released by the governor. But if that grant is not released by the next fiscal year, he says in all likelihood the task force will be shut down. He says it will be up to the auditor and commissioner, but the possibility of the Sheriff's Department picking up the 2 full-time position salaries and the equipment costs is low.
I'm worried because we've worked so hard, but I have a belief that we will continue on with our journey, even if the money's not there, but it will be really hard.
I also talked to Governor Nixon's office today and asked why the grant money hasn't been released to the Department of Public Safety yet. It says the money is restricted because the governor says the legislature passed a budget of $800 million out of balance.
Lindsay, thank you. The governor's office says if funds do become available this fiscal year, Governor Nixon will reevaluate the restricted spending areas. Right